And it's back. Old Raid Guides is back, Season 2, I guess you could say, since it is spring. And this first part of this is not part of the video, the main video at least. I just wanted to put it in here to show that you can fail, and I just kind of wanted to update you and say that this is back. This is going to be a regular thing again, hopefully. This was done on the PTR. I have not renewed my subscription yet, but I might soon. I'm not too sure. My old guild master, rather, is going to come back, and he said that I have a spot in the guild when he rebuilds it, so I said, oh, alright, maybe I'll join that then. But, that would be the main gist of this little intro, and tell me down in the comment section below what you'd like to see next from Old Raid Guides. Razor Gore the Untamed is the first boss, and he is a pretty simple boss, honestly. There's really nothing to him. They have completely nerfed him to the ground. Or nerfed the fight to the ground. It is completely soloable now. I was expecting it to be not soloable, but it is. You can see here, I personally don't take that much damage. The only thing that really takes a lot of damage is the boss, which if the boss dies, you die. At the beginning clip there, you saw the boss die. There's a reason for that. There's a reason that I died, is because the boss died, rather. So, he's really simple. All you need to do is just go up to the eggs here, press 4, it destroys the eggs, move on to the next egg, press 4, move on to the next egg, and it's just rinse and repeat. That's the whole fight. When you go and actually fight him he does stun you, and he will put a conflagrate on you if you allot him the time to do so. But if you're a higher up level, you shouldn't have to worry about it too much. It does not do that much damage, and you can see here in the game I barely lose 100k HP, if that. I wasn't really paying attention to it. You just see a whole bunch of misses going on my screen. So that's about the gist of this fight for higher up players. But I'm going to go over lower level players as well and kind of give you guys a strategy for beating this. So if you were lower level, maybe around 80 to 85, maybe even level 86 or 87, this is a little bit of a tricky part of the fight, is having the boss die. So when your possession runs out, which I would suggest you just let it run out, you want to kill the ads around yourself. But you don't want the boss to be anywhere near you, or you get something like this where you accidentally cleave the boss, and then that's just bad. Like you see there, I took him down to like half health from 500k, so that was pretty bad. But the way you do this is allotting yourself enough time, is starting on the side that you start possessing on, so that where that orb is, that's where you want to start. You want to start there and move all the way up to where I started. It will allot yourself enough time to kill the ads and still be able to possess. That is my thought process, at least. I didn't test it out. I'll have to test it out on my paladin, and I'll get back to you guys and see if that works. If you don't know, my paladin is level 80. He does have twink gear, but he's definitely he's up there with solo ability of most people. But that is the main gist of this fight. Again, is destroy the eggs, move on, destroy the boss at the end here, and you'll see here it takes very little to kill him. He tries to run away there. I'm not sure if he'd glitch out, but I didn't want to risk it, so I just grabbed him. So be wary of that. Be able to go and grab him real fast and make sure that he doesn't run away. And he doesn't. Again, there's the conflagrate, by the way. It just makes you disoriented for however long. You cannot get out of it through any means. You just have to survive it and then kill him. And there's the stun. That's it. And then he just dies very fast because he only has 573k HP. That's about it for this boss, and we're moving on to the next one. So Veilistraz, the Corrupt, I guess that's his name, he is up next. Nothing. There's nothing to say about this fight. It is straight up, you just kill him. He does put a debuff on you if he lasts that long, that will kill you after the duration of it runs out, but you shouldn't have that issue. He does not have that much HP. I believe he has 132. He has 1.3 million rather, and he starts out at pretty low percentage, so you can go into execute phase. Granted, you have an execute very fast, so really easy. There's no issues with it, and you see there that buff gives you a huge amount of your regeneration, your special regeneration. Like for warriors, it gives you 50 rage per like 3 seconds or something like that, something crazy. Same thing for Death Knights and rogues, and I believe for mana users it's like 250 mana, which isn't much at all, so it doesn't really change anything for you, but it does for the special power users that don't have mana. But we're moving on to the next boss. So up next is Bloodlord Lashlayer. He is a pretty simple fight. He doesn't really have any special abilities, he just melees you. But you want to get away from that slowing stuff. It will really hinder the fight, and will just make it last longer when it doesn't need to be. Just hug the gate here. He does put Mortal Strike on you, but that's not that big of a deal. Just hug the gate right there and you'll be fine. I didn't have any issues with it. I've never had any issues with it. As long as you stayed near that gate, this fight is just a wash. Fire Maw is next, and he doesn't really have anything at all either. He puts a debuff on you here that's called Fire Buffet or Buffet. I don't really know how to pronounce it, but extremely simple. I accidentally popped my cooldowns on him, but that's all he does. He just does a pulsing fire AoE. It does very little damage. You don't have to worry about it. Just burn him down and move on. Evon Rock is next, and he is again another burn boss. The only thing that he does is he puts a debuff on you. I'll show you here in a second, and it there it is. There's the debuff. It heals him every time he deals melee damage to you. So literally just a burn boss. You just have to burn him through the heals. It's only 25,000, so it's not too much, and we're already on to Flame Gore. Flame Gore is extremely easy as well. The only thing that he does is he does a pulsing fire AoE, much like Fire Maul did, but it does probably a little bit more damage. He'll randomly put a Enrage on himself that increases attack speed by 150%. Not anything special. Burn him down, move on. I feel like there should be more to this, more to these bosses, but there really isn't. And next is, I hope I'm saying this right, Korogmus, whatever. Moving on. I'm gonna go with Chromagus. Is the second to last boss in here. He is the dog boss. He puts debuffs on you. That is his special ability. He also takes a lot less damage from a certain source. You can see that little buff down there. I did not hover over it so you can't see what it is. It changes every time. It could be nature damage, holy damage, shadow damage, any kind of a special spell ability. He dies pretty fast, honestly. You can see here, he didn't even get his debuff to stack up that high on me. But I guess if he does, I can give you a little bit of background on it. If he has enough abilities stack up on you, then you will turn into a dragonkin, and you just have to sit there as a dragonkin for 5 minutes. And you just have to go and try again. You can dispel the debuffs, and that will prevent that from happening. Simply to dispel the debuffs, use that kind of stuff. Purification potions, I can't really think of anything else that dispels, that is not class specific. That bronze Drake debuff, to dispel that, what you have to do is you loot the mobs that were before the Fire Maw and Flame Gore, those little goblins and whatnot, and they drop something called Hourglass Sand. You use that to dispel that, but I figured I'd include that in there for you guys that might have issues with it and might be getting transformed. But we're moving on to Nefarious. We're already at Nefarious. So, this fight is, at the beginning you kill the dragonkins that he summons. They don't do much at all. If you're doing this with more than one person, he will randomly mind control somebody, and that person will do massive amounts of damage and probably kill one another, and the fight will reset. So, keeping Nefarious LOS is essential. If you're doing this by yourself, you don't have to worry about it, but if you're doing this with others, it might be a little bit of a pain. But we're gonna finish this up and move on to the actual fight. So here's Nefarious. He doesn't have anything special about him. I hate to keep on saying that for every single boss, but it's true. There's really nothing special about Nefarious other than the fact that he will randomly put a debuff on you that is class specific and does specific things. I can't really be any more. Oh, he does that as well. Veil of Shadows, which reduces your healing taken by 75%. You'll see here in a second a debuff go on me. I actually have to stop damage on him just so I can kind of show you guys. He does that breath ability that does 4,500 damage on me, so it can't do too much, but it probably does a decent amount. In the long run, he does fear, and there's that debuff right there. It increases my damage taken by 30%. It is class specific. It does not put Berserk on everyone. Some people, it'll put Hand of Protection on Nefarious. If you're a Paladin, sometimes it does. I can't really go down all the list. You could look it up on Wowhead maybe though, and check that up. But that's the fight. There's nothing to it too much other than getting out of the fear, paying attention to that debuff, watching out for mind control if you're going with more than one person. Oh, and that huge skeleton, like mosh pit thing right there, not a big deal either. Just burn them down and move on. So that was the fight. That was Blackwing Lair, and thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to drop a like rating below, share it, and favorite it. Please and thank you. I highly appreciate it. Let people know this is back. Let them know that Old Raid Guides is back. And tell me down in the comment section below, yet again, what you'd like to see next from Old Raid Guides. So have a nice day, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.